Hello everyone, I am Arun Vian, MCom final from MPM Government First Aid College, Karkala. Today I am going to discuss the presentation topic on GST returns and types of returns. First we have to know the meaning of GST returns. The term returns means statement of information furnished by the taxpayer to tax administrators at regular intervals. The information to be furnished in the return generally comprises of the details pertaining to the nature of activities or business operations forming the subject matter of taxation. So, return is very important aspect of GST as all control over tax paid and input tax credit availed is on the basis of return filed by the taxable person. A return is a document that a taxpayer is required to file as per law. Next, purpose of return. Return provides a framework for working out the tax that becomes payable in the prescribed period, applying the legal principle to the transactions laid down under the tax during the period. GST is a self-assessed destination-based taxation system. Returns under the GST are totally electronic without any requirement of physical submission. A taxable person has a legal obligation to declare his tax liability for a given period in the return, furnish details about the taxes paid in accordance with that return and file correct and complete return within stipulated time frame. The next topic is types of returns. First one, GSTR 1. It is a monthly statement of outward supplies to be furnished by all normal and casual registered taxpayers making outward supplies of goods and services or both and contains details of outward supplies of goods and services. GSTR 1 needs to be filed even if there is no business activity in the tax period. The due date to file GSTR 1 for a given tax period is 11th day of the succeeding month. For example, GSTR 1 for goods or services supplied during the calendar month of November 2020 should be filed by on 11th December 2020. Next, GSTR 3B. Form GSTR 3B is a simplified summary return and the purpose of the return is for taxpayers to declare their summary GST liabilities for a particular tax period and discharge these liabilities. A normal taxpayer is required to file Form GSTR 3B returns for every tax period. Specified due date for filing of Form GSTR 3B is 20th day of the month following the month for which the return pertains. This GSTR 3B is a monthly return of tax payment, so this GSTR 3B is due on 20th of every month. So, while by 11th you report to the government the different types of sales you made and what is the liability arising on your sales through your GSTR 1, by 20th this amount of liability, of course net of credit, has to be paid to the government through GSTR 3B. So the important point here is that if you delay filing this GSTR 3B beyond 20th even by a single day, are essentially depriving the government of the revenue that is due to it. Filing of Form GSTR 3B is mandatory for all normal and casual taxpayers, even if there is no business in that particular tax period. All normal taxpayers and casual taxpayers are required to file Form GSTR 3B every time there is an extension of due dates of filing for Form GSTR 1 and Form GSTR 2. Form CMP08. A composition dealer will use the Form CMP08, which is a special statement cum challan, to declare the details or summary of his or her self-assessed tax payable for a given quarter. It also acts as a challan for making payment of tax. A composition dealer is a dealer who has been registered under the composition scheme laid down for both supply of goods and services. The next type is GSTR 4. GSTR 4 is a return that must be filed by the taxpayers opting for composition scheme on an annual basis until the financial year 2018 to 19, the return was filed every quarter, which got replaced by CMP 08. GSTR 4 is a GST return that has to be filed by a composition dealer, unlike a normal taxpayer who needs to furnish 3 monthly returns. A dealer opting for the composition scheme is required to furnish only one return, which is GSTR 4, once in a year by 30th of April following a financial year. GSTR 4 has to be filed on the annual basis. The due date for filing GSTR 4 is 30th of April following the relevant financial year. For example, the GSTR 4 for financial year 2020 to 21 is due by 30th April 2021. GSTR 5. Form GSTR 5 is a return to be filed by all non-resident taxpayer in case they don't wish to avail input tax credit on local procurements. In case non-resident person wishes to avail ITC on local procurement, it will be required to register as a normal taxpayer and file Form GSTR 1 or 3B as a normal or casual taxpayer. Non-resident taxpayers need to file Form GSTR 5 return for the period for which they have obtained registration within a period of 7 days after the date of expiry of registration. In case registration period is for more than 1 month, monthly return would be filed by 20th of the month succeeding the tax period, and thereafter return for remaining period would be filed within a period of 7 days. So the next step in line is GSTR 5. This I would not call it as a mainstream return, a very uncommon return, because it's not applicable to everybody. GSTR is 5 is applicable only in case of non-resident taxable person. Now, who is a non-resident taxable person? So as the name itself suggests, a person who comes into India. He is not a resident or he does not have a place of business here in India. He comes into India quite temporarily, does some business and goes out of it. So such people are called as non-resident taxable persons. So these non-resident taxable persons again will not be filing the GSTR 1, 3B, none of it. It is GSTR 5 that is applicable to them, and this GSTR 5 for a non-resident taxable person is applicable or due to be filed by 10th of the succeeding month. GSTR 6. Form GSTR 6 is a monthly return to be filed by all the input service distributors for distribution of credit amongst its units. Only those taxpayers who are registered as input service distributor need to file Form GSTR 6. It is a mandatory return to be filed monthly. A nil return must be filed in case of no business activity. ISD return for month M can only be filed on or before the 13th of month M plus 1 or the extended date, if any. So the next return in sequence is GSTR 6. So this is not fully mainstream and not very uncommon also. It is quite common. This GSTR 6 return is applicable when you have more than one GSTR registration. That is a completely independent area of study called input service distribution and the manner of distribution the credit, which again I will not be going into because it is little challenging to wrap your head around that. Preconditions for filing of Form GSTR 6 are recipient should be registered as an IST and should have an active GST index. Recipient should have valid login credentials, that is user ID and password. Recipient should have valid and non-expired or unrevoked digital signature certificate. Recipient should have with him an active mobile number which is indicated in his registration details furnished to GST portal at the time of registration or amendment. There therefore authentication through EVC. Recipient will have an option to file Form GSTR6 for cancelled GST index for the period in which it was active. GSTR 7. Form GSTR 7 is a return which is required to be filed by the person who deduct tax at the time of making or crediting payment to suppliers towards the inward supplies received. The next return in line is GSTR 7. Yet again, this is not a universal return. It's quite rare and uncommon, and it is applicable only to government department, government authorities, government agencies, government companies, and public sector undertakings. It is the return that the GST reduced deduction that the government is required to make. So as and when these entities or agencies of the government make the GST reduction, the payment of it happens through GSTR 7. Yes, it is monthly return, but it is not universally applicable to everybody, and it is due on 10th of the succeeding month. The deductor has a legal obligation. First one, file correct and complete return within the stipulated time frame, given the fact that the TDS credit will be available to the counterparty taxpayer upon filing of TDS return in Form GSTR 7 by the deductor. That is, person liable to deduct TDS and issue TDS certificate to the deductee. As per Section 5(1) of the CGST Act, following persons or entities or establishments are required to deduct TDS. First one, a department or establishment of the central government or state government, local authority, government agencies, and last one, such person or category of person as may be notified by the government on the recommendations of the council. The due date for filing Form GSTR 7 is 10th day of the succeeding month. GSTR 8. Form GSTR 8 is a statement of TCS, tax collected at source, to be filed by e-commerce operators. Form GSTR 8 contains the details of taxable supplies and the amount of consideration collected by such operator pertaining to the supplies made by other suppliers through such e-commerce operators and amount of TCS collected on such supplies. The next return in line is GSTR 8. As of now, this return is again atypical, quite uncommon, not universally applicable to everybody, but considering the fact the entire nation is going to become online and is moving towards an online marketplace, the day would not be very far where GSTR 8 also become a mainstream return. Now, what is this GSTR rate? It is applicable only to e-commerce operators. So, to whatever sales that are made through these e-commerce operators, the e-commerce operators undertake a TCS collection. So the TCS that has been collected by the e-commerce operators on the sales component that has been routed through them is paid to the government through GSTR 8. This GSTR 8 is also a monthly return and due on 10th of the succeeding month. Currently, there is no late fee for filing of Form GSTR 8 beyond the due date. However, interest will be charged in case of delay in discharging of TCS liability beyond the due date. GSTR 9. Form GSTR 9 is an annual return to be filed once for each financial year by the registered taxpayers who were regular taxpayers, including SEZ units and SEZ developers. The taxpayers are required to furnish details of purchases, sales, input tax credit or refund claimed or demand created, etc. in this return. So, every registered person, of course, for the first 2 years, if your turnover is only below 2 crores, you are exempted from filing this return. Once your turnover is more than 2 crores, annual return is a mandate. So every registered person has to file this annual return. In the annual return for financial year 2017-18, the details pertaining to the period from July 2017 to March 2018 are to be reported. In case the taxpayer is registered after 1st July 2017, in such case, details for the period from the effective date of registration till 31st March 2018 is to be provided in annual return. GSTR 9A. There can be two cases in which a taxpayer is required to file GSTR 9A for a financial year. First one, a taxpayer who has opted for the composition scheme at any time during the financial year. Second one, a taxpayer who opted out of the scheme in the middle of the year. What are the prerequisites to be kept in mind for filing GSTR 9A? A taxpayer should have opted for composition scheme for at least a single day in a financial year. A taxpayer should have filed all GSTR 4s for the financial year before filing GSTR 9A. A taxpayer should preview Form GSTR 9A before filing because it cannot be revised after filing. Next, GSTR 9C. Every registered person whose turnover during a financial year exceeds the prescribed limit of rupees 2 crores shall get his account audited by a chartered accountant or a cost accountant. The limit is enhanced to rupees 5 crore for the GSTR 9C of financial year 2018-19 as per the CBIC notification dated 23rd March 2020. GSTR 9C is a statement of reconciliation between the annual return in GSTR 9 filed for a financial year and the figures as per the audited annual financial statement of the taxpayer. GSTR 10. A taxable person whose GST registration is cancelled or surrendered has to file a return in Form GSTR 10 called as final return. This is statement of stocks held by such taxpayer on day immediately preceding the date from which cancellation is made effective. This return should be filed within 3 months of the date of cancellation or date of order of cancellation, whichever is later. This return is intended to provide details of ITC involved in closing stock to be reversed or paid by the taxpayer. So the next return in sequence is GSTR 10 called the final return. So this return is applicable if you have surrendered or cancelled your registration. Then in order to get out of the GST, a return have to be filed. And this GSTR 10 has to be filed within 3 months from the date of cancellation or surrender of the GST registration. Preconditions for filing of Form GSTR 10 are: taxpayer should have valid user ID and password. Taxpayer should have applied for cancellation of registration and order has been issued for cancellation of registration, or in case of suo motu cancellation by tax authorities, an order has been issued for cancellation of registration. In case of cancellation, final return in Form GSTR 10 is required to be filed within 3 months from the date of effective date of cancellation or date of cancellation order, whichever is later. GSTR 11. Form GSTR 11 is to be filed by persons who have been assigned a unique identity number. It is a statement of inward supply of goods or services or both received by an unique identity number holder. Person having unique identification number are required to file Form GSTR 11. There is no due date for filing of Form GSTR 11. UIN holder can file Form GSTR 11 anytime after end of the relevant quarter. So the next return in line is GSTR 11, a very uncommon atypical return, not at all universally applicable to everybody. So this return is applicable in case of unique identification number holders. Now certain government bodies get allotted this UIN number instead of the regular GST number. So such unique identification number holders have to file GSTR 11. So I hope by the end of this video you were able to get a glimpse of the basics of the different types of returns under GST. And we sincerely hope that this video gave you a glimpse about what are the basic compliances are involved in a GST scenario.